Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is the Imaginator. I'm here today to bring you guys the latest my One Piece Manga Chapter 1043 review. The title of this One Piece Manga Chapter is called Let's Face Death Together. The first page is the volume 7 of the cover story, which served as a continuation from the previous volume, which is volume 6 of the story. It appears that Oven and Brule are at far distance away from the area of where most of the cover story uh, took place, and they're now taking the book much further away, and they're still going to Hope Cake, or taking the book that says Vince Smoke into Hope Cake Island. So not much has happened there, but I guess I'll find out as I continue reading more of the cover stories in future chapters. Okay, so the chapter resumes where the last chapter left off, where after Kaido successfully hit Luffy with his Thunderbellow Wagwa, well, thanks to the assistance of the CP0 agent, Luffy is unconscious, and Kaido is obviously distraught, like pretty much very disappointed that the CP0 agent interference prevent him from defeating Luffy in a fair fight, and obviously the rage Kaido just say, you know what, are you ready for this? And the CP0 was just nodding his head and pointing his hand on his hat, or two fingers on his hat, knowing that this is the end of his life. And Kaido basically uses his club, his fight club, and we see Kakuratake losing out, and it was like a big crash, like a big crash on on top of Onigashima. And this was so and Kaido's attack was so powerful that it literally just penetrated most of the Onigashima structure, and it went down to the lower level where the main war was taking place. After this, and also his fellow CP0 agents watching from below, and Kaido comes down and now says, you know, I need to see Momonosuke in order for this war to be, completely done. And he announces to everybody that Luffy is dead, and this obviously caused a lot of um, the depress and worry and and upsetting um, the people that were on Luffy's side. You know, definitely Nami, Otama, and Law, and Kid, and Chopper. You know, everybody's very pretty much full of melancholy at this point, and feeling despair. You know, that the one light that everybody was hoping for to beat Kaido, who's representing the darkness of this whole war, is pretty much diminished at this point. And then most of the Beast Pirates were actually thrilled about this, and they were going after Kid Law, and one of them were saying that, hey, just because you guys defeated his mom, that isn't, that pretty much means that pretty much saying that Kaido is the ultimate adversary. Like, he was a still much bigger threat. And then obviously Law and Kid's crew, respective crewmates, would protect them from the Beast Pirates' attacks. And then after all this fire and explosion that was occurring throughout Onigashima, Kaido was actually going for a blast breath to hit Nami after Nami was shouting, telling Kaido that he was lying about Luffy's supposed death. And Marco pretty much protected her and saved her from Kaido's blast breath. And Marco was like saying like, don't give up hope. This just because things are looking better doesn't mean you should lose your composure. And after this, Law, that's not Law. Then we have Momonosuke and Yamato dialogue. And pretty much Momonosuke's heard the same thing everybody else has heard, and he's pretty much about to give up hope. He's pretty much about to give in into the despair that has been manifested throughout the course of the incident of Kaido successfully hitting Luffy with the Thunderbellow Bagma. And he's about to give up, but Yamato's still being that light representation of light and hope that you shouldn't give up. I'm not going to allow you to do that because the Dao Mile were fighting for the past 20 years, and she still wants Momonosuke to be still confident and still have hope and keep his spirit strong and alive in order to carry out the operation to ensure that that if he to ensure that the chances of them surviving is still uh, probable, possible. And then we get Zunisha pretty much tell Monosuke that this is the first time he heard the drums of liberation for the past 800 years, and that he's saying that he's here. And Monosuke's like, "Who is that? But who do you mean who's here? Who's he?" And then we see, well, then there's the panel above where Luffy's smiling, and it looks like he's kind of like his hair was kind of like a little honey bumblebee kind of thing, like honey-ish type of style. I thought that was pretty cool, and that was the end of the chapter. Overall, I thought the chapter was pretty good. It was not as intense as the previous chapter, but it was more like informative, like some of the chapters were in the past. It's basically now everybody is giving in to the despair that Luffy's lost, and that people are still fighting, but it's like the whole atmosphere of hope has shifted uh, because of the recent events that occurred on the top of Onigashima. And I like that Yamato still kind of keep that light still dimming, or yeah, pretty much dimming, and trying to get it still like active up into the surface. And the whole and Luffy's about to go undergo a transformation, which is I believe which is going to be pretty good. With that being said, yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts of this uh, chapter of One Piece, March chapter 1043 review. Hopefully y'all enjoy. Like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to my channel manager for my tips and reviews, anime discussions, and more. With all that being said, fellow YouTubers, y'all all have a wonderful day.